Hey guys, my name is Pippo and we are a partner of FERTAN. Today we will shoot a tutorial using FERTAN products for rust transformation on a tailgate of this beautiful 320 BMW. As you can see here, this car is a 2008 model with corrosion on the tailgate. The beginner would say that the problem could only be solved by replacement, and that I would have to replace the entire tailgate. For us, the problem is solvable though, by treating the affected areas with FERTAN's rust converter, protecting after, and finally repaint the spot in its original color. What do we need for this project? First, we will need protective equipment such as gloves. Because we are going to grind away most of the surface rust, therefore we will need a wire brush. A wire brush is available in every hardware store or in an automobile wholesale store. Because of the dust, we will need a protective mask, and for eye protection, we need protective goggles. First, let's look at the tools right here. This is a wire brush which rotates at a high speed. Therefore, eye protection is very important. In sum, we will be using two different tools, the large brush as well as a fine, smaller brush, for us to be able to grind out the rust sitting on these curves and interlockings. Therefore, it will be necessary to dismantle various parts. For that, we will dismantle the whole tailgate damper first. However, dismantling the taillight won't be necessary. This will allow us to create a well-spaced work area. What FERTAN products do we use? First, we are going to use FERTAN's rust converter, which will need to react for approximately 24 hours. After the reaction time, it can be washed off with water for further treatment. After that, the FERTAN multi-metal coating will be used. This multi-metal coating can be applied in 2 layers. After a short drying period, we will use the BMW's original color and seal the treated spot using a clear coating as a final step. Let's go. Let's get started. Now, the first step is already done. This means that we have now roughly removed rust from everything. You can also see a small hole right here, but that's not a problem at all, because the service life of the car will certainly not be long enough for any major pitting to occur. I must admit that we didn't get into the fold very well, due to this PVC seal running down right here. We have another sort of rust spot left. But that will not be an issue because we'll eliminate it accordingly using the rust converter. One great attribute of the rust converter is that you can get into hard-to-reach areas, for example, also in the underbody area, which typically, large beams in the way, you can not only apply the product with a brush, but also with an air pressure gun. The multi-purposed usage of the rust converter makes it easy to apply on any underbody. After soaking, simply rinse the residue off with a water hose. After this process, the area can be treated further. It's time to get started with the rust conversion. I'm now going to apply the product, and it's easy to say that I'm excited to see the results myself. I usually use a cap from e.g. a brake cleaner or something similar and fill it up with as much product as I will need for the application. I do the whole process in 2 to 3 steps. For additional support for the reaction, I leave the coat to dry for some time. Another tip is to keep the area moist with the water sprayer like how you would spray a flower. With this additional support, you'll have an even better conversion. Additionally, it'll also work quicker. Of course, I'm going to repeat the steps on the other side as well. One advantage of FERTAN's products, especially the rust converter, is that you can spray it over rubbers and gaskets at any time without damage caused by the product used. Because, as I already mentioned, the product is water-based and very gentle with any materials. If you look at the treated surface now, you can immediately see how the derusted surface turned black, which means that it is already protected by the zinc phosphate, and after washing the residue off the next day, you will find a black zinc phosphate area that is now ready to get primed or painted. Also, the surface will not rust anymore. Hi guys, welcome back. FERTAN's rust converter now had time to react for 24 to 48 hours. We see the surface that needed treatment, which is already wholly zinc phosphate. Now we will proceed with the next step. Clean the area with water. For this, you can use a sponge or a brush to work on this project further. Please note not to skimp on the water. As I already mentioned, the product is water-soluble. Because nowadays, it's crucial to do justice to all the peripheral circumstances. You can see that the area is starting to foam a little, which is absolutely okay. It is simply essential that we remove the last of the dissolved residues. As I've told you earlier, it's okay to cover any other areas around the product, no matter if it's plastic or rubber grommets. This is no issue at all. I use a conventional sprayer for this, like those sprayers that you keep at home to spray houseplants. For large areas in the underbody area, you can also take a conventional garden hose, which then adds much more reach and efficiency to treat larger areas. And efficiency. Now, everything that was rusty brown was in a bad condition. We now have retreated the area and transformed the rust. Now we are ready for the next step. Using FERTAN multi-metal coating. As I mentioned, you can use any available products to prime the area before painting. After this step, we have everything prepared and all parts covered, so we can move on to the next step, which is the repainting and priming process. In this case, we will use FERTAN's multi-metal coating. We will apply the multi-metal coating in multiple layers following a crisscross pattern. We will give the product some drying time for about 3 to 5 minutes. We now will repeat the procedure 3 times. After that, I'll show you the results. We have now had 12 hours of exposure time and some airing time. And now the area is ready to be painted in the original color of the car. This is the result of the multi-metal coating. I am really happy with the result. As I said, we have a tiny hole right here, hidden by the plastic covering, which we will clip in at the end, so this process should settle the rust issues for the next 4 to 5 years. Guys! Summed up, we have roughly removed the rust in this area. After that, the damage area was treated with FERTAN Rust Converter. After 24 to 48 hours, we also cleaned the treated area with water. Finally, we treated the area with FERTAN's multi-metal coating. And we also gave the area time to dry for 12 hours. Then we painted the whole thing with the paint of the car manufacturer, in this case BMW. You can see the results right here. I have to say, the results convince and satisfy me. This project has proven that you don't have to throw away the whole tailgate just because of some rusty spots. The results clearly show that with a lot of love and care, you can even fix a 13, 14-year-old tailgate. Since the plastic cover will be put in anyway, it is completely irrelevant to strive for a perfect result. As you can see here, rust has left its marks. But it is now sealed, which is why no new corrosion will occur. Still, you can say that it is sealed for life, even if you now perhaps finally go over it again with a layer of wax. So we certainly won't have new corrosion at this point over the vehicle's life. The final step will be the installation of the plastic cover. That will be clipped in and therefore the whole area is covered. This means that you won't take much notice of the damaged area in everyday use. For me, it was fun to show you a tutorial and to guide you through the process in different steps, as well as showing you what the project can look like in the end. I have presented you the necessary tools and will once again mention the importance of your personal protective equipment. This is very important with any chemicals that are sprayed because your personal health matters. Keep your safety in mind and you'll end up with an amazing end result. As I said, we trust in FERTAN, and all I can say is that it was fun showing you my work. Maybe I'll come up with something similar in the future again. Maybe we'll look at the underbody next time. And until then, I wish you a good time. Bye.